Welcome to the Colorful Clipboard, where we discuss the building blocks of making dough in childcare. I'm Kate.
And I'm Carrie.
Welcome back to Colorful Clipboard. And if you know Carrie and I and you've listened to us at all in the last year and a half, you know that we like special holidays. And last week, well, in the last couple of weeks, we did a whole episode on being barefoot in shoes, and it was in honor of National Barefoot Day. And like the next day was like leave work early.
Leave the office early.
And I started laughing and I told Carrie, I said, we should do that one because as a director, I don't think that was even in my vocabulary. And I know it wasn't in Carrie's either, partially because her girls were there, right? So it was, family time. They were there. It was family time all day long. But as we've gotten older and the more we've talked with directors who have gotten burnt out, this is definitely family balance time management. So this is not going to be a fluffy conversation, right, Carrie?
I don't think so.
Fluffy. I mean, we could probably make it fluffy about how you have to, have all this balance, but I want to talk about just a little bit about balance and some of the benefits and maybe how to
some logistics,
some of that family balance,
some basic logistics on how to leave your center, like how to go have lunch with a friend. How do you do that?
Well, so Carrie, how do you do that?
No, I just walk out the door. But
does anybody need to know you're walking out the door?
So, even I guess in my first year of starting my first center, I didn't do that because we kept our ratios so tight. But after that first year, when we had a little bit of breathing room in our budget, everybody else got a lunch break and I deserved one too. So we as directors frequently do not clock out for an hour. And we may physically clock out, but we don't leave. We don't take a mental break. We stay in the building for the most part. I'm sure some of you are much better about this than I was, but we didn't want to leave the building. I don't know what do we think as new directors is going to happen if we leave the building for an hour so that we can go have a cup of coffee and a muffin with a friend? Like, what do we think is going to happen?
But you don't drink coffee, so you should at least say tea.
Yeah, I know. I'm drinking tea, but everybody else in the world is drinking coffee. Well, everybody else in the state. But I don't know what the fear is. I'm so far removed from that in my career, but I know there is a fear. If you leave your building while the children are still in it, in the middle of the day, something like it's going to catch on fire randomly, or, all the children are going to start biting because you've left the building, or it's probably not a rational fear. But
no, but you and I have both been business owners for a long time. So we both know that balance is important. We also know that balance didn't come easy. And so, in addition to forcing yourself to, and if you have to, make sure you hire those lunch break substitutes. It shouldn't be you. Make sure that you schedule it on your phone or something. I think Carrie's suggestion about having a friend to join you is great, because then you have the accountability person who's going to show up and be like, come on, you said you were leaving, right? So
let's go.
Definitely something to.
It's half price over at Sonic. I want my slushie.
Yep, there you go. And so having some positive peer pressure to help you make sure that you keep that balance is really important. The other thing that allows you to do, especially if it's not a spouse, not that you can't have lunch with your spouse, but by having a break in the day with somebody who might be perceived as neutral or can be your sounding board. If you have a stressful day, you've now given yourself an opportunity to talk about it before bringing it home. And so when we talk about time and family balance and leaving work on time, sometimes that's leaving all of it at work. What would be some things that you struggled with, Carrie, related to the balancing the family and the time and the work?
I knew from being a kid with a workaholic mom that taking a vacation is important, but even though I built in 2 weeks of vacation into my schedule so that I didn't have to worry about, is the building going to catch on fire when I'm not here, because the building was closed. I needed more time because I spent 4 of those 9 days driving. I needed some time to decompress when I came home. And also, because there were times that my husband worked at the center, my cousin worked at the center, my cousin's spouse worked at the center, my best friend worked at the center, my children were at the center, it could be really hard to draw a line. And so I had to figure that out within the first year, how to draw the line between right now you're my employee or my coworker, and 5 minutes later we're friends because we've left to go have that coffee together. So I think that that's something that I struggled with at the very beginning, but I made it very, very important to myself to draw those lines, because I have over the years worked with every member of my immediate family and about 5 members of my extended family. So that is really hard. If you've got your child working for you, or you've got your spouse working with you, or even a friend, I mean, it's really hard. And also, I think another thing that was a problem for me is I would be so tired at the end of work that I would bail on doing stuff with extended family or with friends because I was just too tired.
Right. So the day that prompted this episode was Leave Work Early Day. And again, I think that's one of those things where Carrie was trying to give you permission to go out for lunch. I want to make sure I give you permission to make sure you have an afternoon manager who knows how to do the close up, because, you do need to have that opportunity for balance. I know a lot of people get into early childcare because they have children that are that age. And then as their kids go and all of a sudden school agers, it becomes kind of a different scenario. Either your kid has to go to after school care, or you go pick them up and bring them back. But maybe that's not how that needs to be. Although my parents were not necessarily workaholics, they did have they both ran different locations of the same business. And the one thing that kind of became very clear to me, more as an adult than actually really even as a kid, because I'm not sure, because nobody pointed it out to me as a kid, but I had one parent who would go into work at like 4 a.m. and was always home by 10 a.m. And so during the summer, that is the parent who was home most of the time in the summer. And then the other parent, went to work when I went to school and was always off work when I got out of school. And so the fact that they worked 6 and 7 days a week is what I took out of that, not necessarily that they were always there in the afternoons when I was in elementary school. And as I got more things in the afternoon, they stayed later and later at work. But it is definitely something that you as a director can keep in mind when your kids get to be school age. You can choose to maybe come in early, take longer lunches so that you have some time by yourself or with your spouse, pick your kids up from school, and then everybody comes back and you end the day. Or you can get, again, hire that end of the day shift so that you don't have to worry about it. And you can leave at 3 o'clock because chances are you were there early.
And I think that's a real key thing. A lot of directors have the thought that I need to be there first thing in the morning, so I'm there to greet the parents, and I need to be there at the end of the day to talk to parents at closing. And yes, during COVID, you may have needed to do that because that's the only way that the outside drop-off was going to work. But that doesn't have to be a forever thing. And if I were you, I would make that one of the first things to go as we go back to, the systems that we used before 2020. Look at what you can do. How many days do you really need to be there at drop off? How many days do you really need to be there at pickup? And my suggestion is that you do at least one pickup every week and at least one closing every week, but you don't need to do 5 of each. It's not good for your health.
Well, so let's jump back at that. Let's say you do decide for whatever reason that you need to be there at the opening and the closing. Then force yourself to leave in the middle of the day. And there are some people who can do that. We had a director who, the director personally was there the traditional more like 9 to 5 shift. But the owner was always there in the morning and the owner was always there at close. And so the owner had her own versions, and it came back to trust. She'd been a long time owner by the time she got to that point. But knowing that somebody can handle the day for you and you just want to be able to interact with your parents and the kids and see them when they're, and let them tell you about their day. There's definitely some joy out of that option. So remember, you're the director or the owner, right? So you're the one who gets to determine schedules. A lot of times directors are really good about being flexible with calendar schedules with their staff. Because I think, Carrie, didn't you have a staff person who kind of did that whole middle of the day, then took a break and came and did your after schoolers?
Oh, I love that schedule. That's the kind of schedule that I would have dreamed for when I was, when I was a young teacher. Being able to take a 3-hour lunch in the middle of the day, man, you can go shopping. Now that I know about pedicures, I would be all about the pedicures in the middle of the day. I didn't know about pedicures when I was in my 20s. I was poorly uneducated. But I think that is one of the best schedules. I don't know why more people don't take you up on it. That's a great schedule. Who doesn't want a 3-hour lunch break? Come on.
But didn't you do that? So you created that for that staff person because it was something she asked for.
Yeah, she asked for it because she wanted to be able to go pick up her child from school, and it wasn't a school that we picked up from for after school. So they took it off, and that's when they did all of their doctor's appointments and anything else. But yeah, I created it because that teacher asked for it. I didn't come up with it out of my own brain. And now I'm just like, I really think way more people should have that schedule. And the parents loved it because they got to see her morning and afternoon.
So what I'm trying to say with that, and part of the reason I brought that up is, as directors, a lot of times we will try to meet the needs of our staff and we forget that we are the staff.
What?
And that we also need to have our schedule needs met. So it's very, very important for you to do whatever you need to do to have your backup. So if you need a fully trained director to be your backup, then do that. If you just need a couple of staff in the morning and a couple of staff in the afternoon that you have confidence in that can truly open the building and close the building, do that. Decide for yourself how summer vacations and holidays work. If you have not, Carrie can find the episode and tell us before we're done. If you have not heard our episode about vacations, you need to. Because we're getting to that time of year, and I would suspect we probably did it last year at about this time. And, take care of yourself. You are absolutely the most important staff person, and so the schedule that works best for you is what you need to do. And make sure you give yourself time to do the things you love. So if rocking babies is your thing, then put yourself into the schedule to be the infant nap break person so that you get snuggle times with infants. If you need to talk to kids that can talk and are already potty trained, make sure you give yourself the time to remember why you're in this job.
So that episode on vacation is episode 43, the importance of vacation. And I think, so we've talked a little bit about, making sure that you're not working 80 hours a week. We're very serious about that. And building in some time to recharge at your center with the kids. Like, we have amazing perks in this business, guys. Nobody at IBM gets to take a snuggle break. They just don't get it. So I think we need to take advantage of those perks that we have that nobody else gets. And we need to make sure you're also spending time with other adults who you're not related to or married to. Here's the thing. If you're out someplace and you say, hang on, I gotta go tinkle, that is a sure sign that you're not spending enough time with other adults. Or if you notice other people sitting uncomfortably in a chair and you're like, oh, do you need to go to the bathroom, honey? Again, sure sign that you need to spend more time with adults.
Okay, so I think we have just, if you've ever listened to comedians and, there's Jeff Foxworthy and some of the others, you might be a redneck if. I think Carrie has now come up with her own comedy show, and it is How to Know You Need to Be Around More Grown-Ups. So, anyway, we hope that you guys enjoy listening to us, and we enjoy bringing you different topics. So if you've got some additional ideas that you'd love to hear us banter about or stand on a soapbox, we're happy to do both. And sometimes we do. And so give us a call. Check us out. Don't forget to email us at hello@colorfulclipboard.com. And Carrie can tell you how and where to find us and share us and all those things.
We're on all of the podcasting apps that I've been able to find. And then you can find us on Facebook at Colorful Clipboards. You can find us on Instagram, and we occasionally remember to post there. And theoretically, we have a Twitter, but don't go there. We don't talk to them.
Oh, and if you liked what you heard today, don't forget to share it with a friend and come join us next week. We are here every Tuesday, and we are now well over 1,000 downloads for our first season, and we are on season 2. So thanks for hanging out with us, and have an awesome day.
Thank you for listening to Colorful Clipboards. Connect with us on social media at Colorful Clipboard, or send us an email to hello@colorfulclipboards.
Send us your voicemail with your own questions and stories. If you want to keep learning with us, visit Texas Director, where we continue to have seminars, licensing, programs, and more.
This show has been made by me, Carrie Casey, and Kate Young, with assistance from Hallie Casey and Marie Young. If you learned something today, share the show.